welcome to the Pulse Collective podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the PCP, otherwise known as the Pulse Collective podcast. If you're new here and this is your first time, we are Pulse Collective. We're a growth partner agency that works with businesses all across Canada, the United States, and the world. And we help them scale their business through AI-powered systems. So if you've been going through the same old school processes of picking up the phone and having your sales team call 100 people every single day, you're not getting any meaningful results, drop us a message down below and I'll have one of our team of seasoned consultants reach out and see if there's a potential fit for us to help you out as well. Now, today I'm really excited for our episode. I'm actually joined by Captain Hugo Hinrichsen. He's the founder of Positive Polar, which is actually a climate technology company that is working to restore ocean ecosystems by transforming ships into what they like to call mechanical whales. Now, I'll allow Hugo to go into a little bit more detail about what that means exactly, but he's going to bring a very unique perspective, and he actually has a very interesting background as well. So, without me going into too much detail, Hugo, I'm very excited to have you on. Welcome to the show, number one. And can you start by just sharing a bit about your background and also what's the entire vision behind Positive Polar?
Yeah, well, very nice to be here. Really, thank you very much for the invitation. First of all, well, the vision did start because of my own really kind of experiences that I did have during my life. I did grow in Patagonia. There you can see there's I did grow in Patagonia, and I become a Navy officer, and then my child did grow there also, but it was totally different. The winters were like a party for me. We were waiting for the lagoons to get frozen so we can play with our neighbors, and I did just fall in love of that childhood. And then in the summers we were seeing whales, but then my child, I asked for a transfer to live there, because when you're in the Navy you live all around the world, right? I asked for a transfer to live there, but my child didn't have that childhood because the winters didn't they were gone. It was only rain, and the lagoons didn't froze. It did snow sometimes, but not enough for the lagoons to get frozen. All of that social structure that was kind of a tradition for, and every family has his own, ice skating, shoes and everything. All of that was lost because it was not so cold. So I did find the only place to go ice skating was the mall. We did have a mall now,
Wow.
but you have to pay. It was totally different. And obviously you can do those activities in the ski resorts, but again, you have to take the car. It's something different of what I did have in my neighborhood. And that was what, being in the Navy, seeing everything what I was seeing, I decided to do something about the environment. So yes, that's how everything started.
Very cool. Very cool. It's a completely different upbringing and background compared to somebody like me who's more from a city. So I've never really, never really had whales or this entire concept in my life. But
Yeah.
I really want to dig into this a little bit. I think it's going to be very interesting. I know previously you actually had mentioned to me, if I'm not mistaken, that around 10% of the biomass that's created through the process that you guys have kind of initiated, it actually sinks down to the ocean floor when you were actually telling us. So before we even get into the specifics, I'm curious about you now as a company. What does your process look like when it comes to changing this? Like, what are you really doing now? Because I'd like to get into that for everyone.
Yeah. Well, continuing the story, because of that, I decided to start looking to find a company. I was sowing these changes around the world, but specifically in Antarctica and Patagonia. So I started looking for a business partner, and I did identify my business partner, Jen Bonilla. She's a PhD and a biotech expert, and we share the same love from the whales. So we decided to fund a Positive Polar the year 2023, almost 3 years ago. and to do something about this, taking something iconic that will also make this kind of understandable, the science, and this something iconic are the whales. So we combine both experience. She's a biotech expert. I'm a captain, more than 25 years sailing. So we did realize that there was a process that it was already happening into the ships. That is when you go into a ship as a passenger, as a sailor, you produce waste. And that waste is dropped into the ocean because you cannot transport the waste on board the ship, right? So you make a process. The food is macerated, and then you drop it. And the human waste are also going into a specific waste treatment unit. It take all of the bad things that could contaminate, and then you drop it also in a thing called a sludge, right? So we said, okay, maybe we could transform that, and instead of just dropping this, biomimic a natural process that maybe is something that it should be happening. And what should be happening? Should be happening that the whales should be much more into the oceans there. But because we catch almost all of the whales, more than 95% of the whales, that process of putting nutrients into the ocean is almost broken. 90% of that process is broken because there's not enough whales, right? Because we almost catch all of them. So we said, okay, so what if we can biomimic and use this waste and biomimic the natural process, the whale feces, so we can restore the ocean wildlife and help the whales to restore itself also, because more food for them will be more easy for them to restore, but using our own waste, right? So what you said about the 10% of the phytoplankton is that those phytoplankton blooms that we are going to do biomimicking a natural process will help the ocean wildlife to restore, because as you know, there's still fish, but a lot of fish has been already taken. So we are going to restore the ocean wildlife, but also 10% of that phytoplankton that grows sinks to the bottom of the ocean. So you are not only helping the ocean wildlife to restore and the whales to restore, you're also doing the opposite of what you do when you burn oil, because that carbon that has the phytoplankton goes to the bottom of the sea, and then it doesn't go again to the atmosphere. It goes to the mineral cycle. So to the bottom of the sea, and that's why it's also a very good tool for helping to restore our environment.
Wow. Because of course, for anybody that may be watching this, we're probably not as familiar with, any type of biological terminology or any type of sustainable terminology. But at the end, like, I guess to just hypothetically summarize here, it's really just leveraging a process that emits a lot of waste into our bodies of water and making a more sustainable way to preserve the waste that's already being used, and you're leveraging that to essentially just save the wildlife. That is a really, really beautiful concept. And I think that one thing that, from a business side, just me being from a little bit more of a business background, I can imagine it's not cheap to do what you guys are doing. And a big part of it is you probably need some type of way to get some funding and some sourcing through getting this type of stuff done. So that's kind of what I want to get into is, what is your, I guess, like, process right now to actually get this type of funding to do this process?
Thank you for the question, because you nail it. Yes. Well, the process is the final process. We expect that will be very cheap because it's like technology. What we call it a whale biomimic reactor, and will be. The idea is to be something that you can add to the already existing waste treatment units. So the idea is to be cheap and commercially scalable. But you are right in the point that we need fund for this research to be done, right? So we have already invested a lot in a lot of studies, with also a lot of advices that we have we have paid for people for the different business, and we have already invest a lot, but we need more money because now we are in the specific phase of what is called the proof of concept of the technology that we are doing. So we have already achieved what is called the technology readiness level 2. That means that the scientist has already said this is possible to do. Now we need to go into the labs, into the earth first, and then starting with the prototypes on the sea. So for that we need funds, and for the phase 1 we are raising funds on in 2 ways: on a crowdfunding platform that is called Wefunder, that you can go through our website and you can click there, and also for accredited investors in the USA and around the world. You can just contact us, and we provide also the documents for invest into us as an accredited investor. So and the most exciting news is that because of what we have invest and everything, we are now ready to start applying programs on board cruise ships that will fund this science to move forward, because then the same cruise ships will adopt our technology. So we have designed programs that you can see also in our website, programs that will engage the guest and make the guest fall in love of what we are going to do. So these revenues because of these programs will also fund the science, and that's what we want to do. We want to move forward with the passengers, create a social movement, because this is what something that has to be understood by the people and create hope, because we think that this technology could be very powerful and provide hope for people to a better world, and travel with pride, not with shame. Travel proudly to these places. Yes, that's what we want.
I think you transitioned to my next question very seamlessly, because I think definitely I can understand funding and getting some investors buy-in to your concept and what you guys are doing is very important. But I'm also thinking that for a lot of us, people that aren't around the ocean or around the wildlife, like a lot of times we forget that this is even a problem. So a big part of maybe your messaging is educating the masses about like what's going on. So I'm curious, what is your process right now for somebody like me or somebody that might be watching that doesn't know anything about any of this? Well, how are you educating them? Are you kind of like, do you have stories that you share online? Do you have social media pages? Like how exactly
Yes,
does that look like?
yes. Thank you very much. We have social media channels in Facebook, Instagram, and also X. That's are the most powerful ones that we have. We also have TikTok and other ones, but we are more focused really in Facebook, on Instagram. And going there, you will see everything, how it works, and you will we have already invest into create some post that are easy to understand for the normal people, so they can see the potential of this. And yes, you are right. People may think that this is not a problem, but it's a huge problem. The phytoplankton is dying. More than 40% of the phytoplankton has already been dead because of this, and the oceans are getting are getting warm. And the phytoplankton is the one that has stabilized, even without this whale pump tool, has stabilized our environment. If the ocean gets more acid without life, without phytoplankton, the phytoplankton are like what the trees do, but multiplied by 20. Okay, it's like having forest all around the ocean. Remember that 71% of the earth is sea, right?
Water.
It's water. So the phytoplanktons are like the trees of this water. So, and those trees are dying. So what we are doing is that it, making understand people that we have to take care of this and restore this. This has been already been dead. Almost half of that is already dead. So we have to restore this so we can still have a normal environment, because if we don't do this, the ocean will get more acid, we will lose the more phytoplankton, and then the environment will get even more crazy as what it is right now, and that will be worse for everyone. But we don't want to provide fear, we want to provide hope. As I said, positive polar is a tool of hope, because we have the technology to scale this. Because could you imagine if all of the ships could adopt this technology? There is 110,000 ships going offshore. So 110,000 ships could adopt this technology. So even if only 1/3 of this merchant fleet, cruise ships, cargo ships, ocean fishing adopt this technology, we could restore the ocean wildlife and restore the environment even to pre-industrial levels. That's why we are so happy. And we said, this is the way, because we don't have to build any additional infrastructure. The infrastructure or assets, they are already there. They are sailing. So that is what we went to provide. And as I said, a message of hope to everyone, or sense that he's free to do whatever he wants, right? That's the idea.
No, definitely. I think right now, a lot of people, especially, there's so much stuff happening in the world where we get kind of lost into just, our day-to-day lives, but we're not really looking at potentially 10 to 20 years from now, what the world can look like. And I think this initiative, the reason why I wanted to actually bring you on was I feel like a lot of times we talk about business and a lot of times we talk about just how to make more money. But this is really the root of everything. And where our world looks like 10 or 20 years from now is really, really important. So I, for one, want to commend what you guys are doing from just a vision standpoint. I think it's very beautiful. I am curious about, you mentioned how there's about 110,000 ships that go offshore. So now, from an actual business lens, for somebody that may be watching this, you have 110,000 ships that are potential users of your technology.
Yes.
Now, how are you actually reaching these people, these different types of companies or ships that have that may be potential users of yours? What's that process look like?
Yes, that's excellent question. This is also present in our pitch, so you can see it also. Then go to the website and in our investor page on Wefunder. But this is a huge business, right? Can you imagine what this is? A huge business. So we had to start by phases. So our phase one is what we are doing right now. We are approaching the cruise lines with these programs, and they will have also an additional benefit, because for the expedition cruise lines, for example, they will have more passengers, because there's a lot of passengers that don't want to cruise because they think that the expedition cruise is not so good, right? But if we provide them and we told them that they are going to also fund this science, they will go into travel. So it will be a benefit also for the expedition cruise ship. For the bigger cruise lines that are already full of passengers, this is something that will make a differentiation, and it's fun. It's fun to do these programs. So we are in this phase of connecting with them. So then with this, as I said, with these revenues, we fund the technology into the lab, and then we will have our own ship to test the prototype, because we have to have a prototype to put it on the sea. That's how usually you do in this kind of business. You have this prototype, you tune this prototype. Meanwhile, you are sailing all around the world. We are going to go from Antarctica up to the Arctic, going through the Chilean fjords to the Caribbean Sea, and arriving to the Arctic and then back again. So with passengers. So there's also a business there, because passengers love to go to these pristine places to swim with sperm whales, to see the whales. We call expedition cruise ship. So that's a second business that we are going to do. So, and this is the most good part, then our partners will start using this technology as an exclusivity for a specific period of time. So they will also have additional revenues because people will travel with them because they have our technology, right?
Right.
And then, to your point, then we are going to license this to the whole fleet. And that is where is the money, because only in license to 1/3 of the merchant fleet, my partner has calculated all of this, and you can win $500 million in license. So yes, it's a long-term investment. It's not, I will not sell you here something that is not. It's a long-term investment. But for people like you, that you are young, or people like you, or people that want to think into give this investment to, for example, to his kids, or they want to wait 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, this is a very good investment, because the license that we can win because of this is huge. So
Right.
it's like 85% IRR and 65 times your money in 9 years. That is what we have calculate, because their present valuation is very low, right? So but because of the license, this is really a unicorn, and that's what we expect.
So I definitely think just now from a marketing standpoint, me being somebody who typically anybody that I've also worked with, or even when I was previously on sales teams in the past, a lot of times the struggle is that we'd send messaging out to people about what our story is or what it is, but a lot of people want immediate value received to them. So I think your story actually has two sides to it. Like, you have, of course, the long-term financial gain, but I also think that, for example, if a cargo ship or one of these companies were to acquire your technology, it's also a social gain for them, not just a revenue gain. So the social gain comes immediately because they're actually investing. If you see a lot of companies right now, they invest in corporate social responsibility or sustainability initiatives, or you see like Apple, for example. Now, if you buy an iPhone, you only get the phone. You don't even get a charger in the box anymore. Oh, but
Yeah.
the thing is, a lot of people started that's an extreme example, but my point is a lot of people have started looking at companies investing in green initiatives in a positive light. So I think your messaging could actually also be very immediate. Like, you can be like, this is something that is going to give you financial gain as well. But in the short term, for your immediate clients or your investors, whatever the case may be, they're going to look at you as somebody who's investing in being more sustainable, which is bettering the world as well. So I'm
Exactly.
curious.
And
Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
and secondly, and let me jump, because I forgot something that is the investment perks, and that you will also see. The investment perks is that immediate value that you will have when we have our own ship. It's not going to be immediate, because we are not going to have our own ship immediately. Could take 2 years, but the same amount of your investment will be equivalent of the discount that you will have traveling with us.
Mhm.
So it's very good, because you will invest with us, and then it's not exactly, but more or less the same amount is what you will have in the discount when you decide to travel with us with an additional partner, because we want to create, as I said, a movement. So we want to invite people to travel with us. So that is the perk that you will have traveling with us, and that's like the immediate return. So you will travel with us with a discount, so equivalent to your investment, and then your money will multiply 65 times in 9 years. So
That's amazing.
is a very good
Yeah.
investment.
No,
So yes, yeah.
no,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
and also you will feel happy, because you are cooperating with something that really could restore the environment, and to pre-industrial levels, and stabilize the environment, have more fish, more economy, everything.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Honestly, hats off to you guys. I think this is great. Obviously, when it comes to messaging, and I'm sure your messaging will continue, especially when you're reaching out to people. The biggest thing is that nowadays, for example, for our business, I'll give you an example, completely different industry, everything. But when we were reaching out to people originally, we were like, hey, like, for example, we can help you get more clients. Originally, that messaging wasn't working. So what we started doing is we started being like, hey, what we can do is we will actually give you a free audit of your business. So now they actually look at us as a trusted advisor from day one. And now what ended up happening is once we gave them that value, by 2, 3 months from now, when we reached out to them and said, hey, based upon the audit that we did for you, we can help you get more clients and address this problem. They were much more receptive to that. I think your messaging has so much potential because you have potential for long-term clients, but you can also give them this immediate value as well. So it's really how you're constructing this. And I think a big part is, obviously for anybody that's going to be watching this, or as we see it on LinkedIn, on my LinkedIn networks as well, or yours as well, definitely try to support the cause, do some research about what it is that they're doing. But then if you're also reaching out to larger businesses as well, I think it's just a completely different strategy, but there's definitely unique things that you can do. I do want to wrap up before we get into kind of the last phase of the conversation. I want to just look at your journey. So I know that you said you've been through a lot of things and eventually got you to this point that you're at. What is one piece of advice that you received in your entrepreneurial career that for a young person coming out of college that's 20, 25 years old, that you would give them coming into this world now? There's so much saturation, so much competition. Everybody's just looking for immediate, instant gratification. What is your piece of advice that you would leave for the younger generation?
Well, I want to be very truthful on what I'm going to say. I did start working when I was 16. So I did start working when I was very young in the Navy, and then I I have my family, and then I start this company. What I can say, you have to hopefully. I know that when you are young, you especially the new generations want to have like their own business immediately and get rich immediately. And hopefully when I'm going to be 30 and they want to build their wealth and then think on something that will, what I said, anchor them. But what happens if you do that? You when you start a business, it's very difficult. This has not been easy. It's very difficult if you have really something that can really change your way of living or the world or whatever you want to create. It's not easy. So you have to build that anchor before. That is my advice. So you should hopefully have a job that, as I did have, established job in somewhere, hopefully. Build your anchor. Your anchor could be a family, or maybe could be having I don't know, something else, dogs, for example, or or friends. But build your anchor first. I think the family is the best one. Build try to
Right.
be try to build a family with when you have this stabilized environment, and then jump into your dream. And also you have to win experience, right? So because I'm very good. I think I'm very good observing things. I'm a pilot. I I have been seeing almost everything since wars in Africa up to rescues in Antarctica. So I have seen a lot of things. So and that is my capacity of observation. So you have to also sense what is needed, and for that you need some years, and then you jump into a business. That is what I think is the best way, because what I did has been very difficult, and if wasn't because of my anchor, that is my family, my child's, and my beliefs, maybe I will quit. I should have quit like a long time ago,
Yeah.
right? But I have not, because I have that anchor, that motivation, that is. So that is what I said, that for an entrepreneur, you have to build your anchor before, observe what is needed, and then you jump. And it's yeah, sad that I don't say no for the young people, go immediately. No, you have
Yeah.
to
No,
build your.
I completely agree. You need like by anchor also like what you mean is basically have a purpose, have a reason, have a why. Like why are you
Exactly.
doing this? Why? Because entrepreneurship, I've had 3 startups prior to this one where early on they did not go well, and there were nights where you're kind of just doing things by yourself. You don't even know what you don't even,
Yeah,
but you have to keep doing it. That's all you have to do.
exactly. Yes,
So the reality is, like, when you're working a job, every single day you kind of have an agenda. These are the things I need to get done tomorrow. I'll come in. Like, the reality is, as an entrepreneur, when you're first starting up any business, there's no agenda, there's no itinerary, there's no direction, there's no anything. So you're kind of just doing one thing at a time, and it takes a big mental toll. So the importance of, for example, if you have loved ones to take care of, you have family at home, you have people, it consistently keeps you going. And that's definitely for me as well. Like, that's my biggest driver. And that's forced me to continue building my social platform even at a younger age compared to what I wanted to do. So that's another big part of this. But I completely agree. Hugo, before we wrap up, I want to ask, again, where can everybody find you online, your website? If you have a LinkedIn or social media, feel free to plug that in.
yes. Well, our website is www.positivepolar.com, and if you go there, you can go to our social media channels, to our investment platform, and anyone can contact me. You can also subscribe. Very important to subscribe, because we have newsletters that we also provide monthly with our advance. So subscribe to positivepolar.com, and also there you can send me an email or everything. Yeah. No problem. I'm open to explain what we are doing, and anyone can reach me. Yes, no problem with that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, for anybody listening that wants to learn more about the project or also just help support the mission, feel free to reach out to Hugo. And Hugo, this has been an absolutely valuable conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on today. And hopefully we'll be in contact again in the future.
Yes,
Best of luck.
and next time maybe my partner Jen can participate also. Yes, that would be great.
Absolutely. We'd love to have her on.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you very much.